Tonight, board members, we have Ms. Dunn, I believe, with us, helping us with this item. Ms. Dunn, welcome. Thank you for your patience tonight.
Good evening. One of the things that I noticed per a parent who called me about her son's nut allergy was that we didn't have a policy. We practice a lot that's already in the policy, but we didn't have a policy. So I wanted to put one before you to look it through and give me some direction. If there's anything else you wanted on it. I talked to the mother, and we had a nurse last year, and we're going to get another one this year. We only had about, in the 10 years I've been here, we've had allergies to dairy, well, you know, sensitivity to dairy, some, you know, wheat allergies, a whole lot of vegetarians, a couple of nut allergies. But last year the nurse did a phenomenal job, first of all, in training all the staff, food service, teachers, front office, about EpiPens, about allergies. We have directions up on what to do and how to do it. There's an EpiPen on every floor. There's an EpiPen in the kitchen. There's students who carry their EpiPens with them, and there's one at both desks, and also at I think there's one at the main office. And we're going to continue that this year. So we've done a good job in terms of doing a lot of the things that are in this particular board policy and the AR. But I think there are things in here that I hadn't even thought of, and one of them Lisa Tamery pointed out to me because we read it over, was when you have students going on a field trip, to make sure that we give them their allergy medications, and they carry those, and the kids who usually bring their EpiPens anyway because they have severe allergies, and I think there was 2, do it, but we were, as part of the field trip, we should have those pens with it, and so now we will. So my thought was, let's get one on the board. It gives us enough leeway so that we can make sure that we take care of whatever student happens to come through, and we needed to have the board policy there as well as have the AR. So I'm presenting that to you. I think you were given that information in your packet. And I believe, I'm not sure, Dr. Rubio, if this is the first read-through and then we come back and we vote on it again with any additions that you might have. And that would be my suggestion.
Sure, it is meant to be a first reading for the board, or they can take action at their pleasure.
Yeah. And most of us, by the way, I don't use nuts pretty much, and then a lot of the CN labeled products, which is child nutrition labeled, they don't have any nuts in it. But there is one student who likes, and he's autistic, and his mother's trying to get him to pick out the right cereal or pick out the cereal he likes, and he likes Honey Nut Cheerios. So we put it behind the counter and try to give it to him when he comes up because he likes to choose it. So we're trying to accommodate all those people who do have things as well as those people who don't.
Thank you, Ms. Dunn.
So I had a question. You said that...
Excuse me, Member Inch, I'm going to ask for public comment just as a formality.
Oh, sure.
Now you can ask a question. I'm sorry. You're the only one. Anyway.
You're public.
I'm sorry, Ms. Inch. You can ask your question now.
I was actually going to ask, Superintendent said that we could take action now or wait for a second reading. I wondered if we took action now, if we could still revisit and revise it after the first reading.
Oh, sure. As a school board, my belief is yes, at any time if you feel like, even if you approved the policy and felt like it, and we realized later, or you realized later as a board need a revision, sure, absolutely.
Because I feel like it's pretty important to get a policy in place. We're a little behind the game as far as the food allergies and.
And I think as far as I'm sorry, I think over the summer it would be probably, I'm not telling you what to do, but as far as over the summer, as far as such policies as this, so when the students get here, we hit the ground running, and not having to worry about, did we miss something at the beginning of the year? It's just something, kind of a heads up on that. But I full-throated accept, want this policy in place as soon as possible.
Okay, that's fine.
If that's the case, do I have a motion for this item to accept this policy?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Member Collins?
Yes.
Member Inch?
Yes.
Member Langner?
Yes.
Member Vargas?
Yes.
President Marion?
Yes, motion carries unanimously. On to item 8.6.
Thank you.
And item 8.6
8.6 is the
the admin
is the
regulation.
adoption of an administrative regulation regarding food allergies, dietary needs, first reading. Not so fast.
Back. I know, you almost feel like you're on TV and you're like, hey, but anyway, need a little levity here. The administrative regs are just more detail on what we can or should do. What I like about both the policy as well as the regs, it gives you some leeway to figure out what you need to do on a day-to-day basis, and it gives us an identification as to what we, like I said before, having the EpiPen, it makes suggestions, like we did at Annie Yates, have a table for anyone with any kind of allergies, because we had one child, he's not here any longer, he had severe allergies to pretty much everything, and his mother brought his food, but as children will be, sometimes they want to say, hey, eat this, and there it goes. So we're trying to keep, kept some distance away when people were eating, so that if we didn't have, and we have a lot of people who are watching children, but it does, just takes one. But that's why the regs were going to be in there too, so just to give us even more detail.
And you're saying that a lot of these practices are already happening, that are just not
They're already
written
happening.
down.
We just didn't, when I went to look in the board policy, I didn't see it, and it is something that a lot of schools are adopting, but not all schools, but it was something that we already were practicing it, so I didn't think to put it up there, but now we are.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask for public comment. Okay. I do have a question pertaining to this policy. Just getting staff up to speed, and what about students? How do you address students in, students are a wonderful tool as far as education means, educating their fellow students. How is that part of the, is that an extension of the policy, or how does that, do the students play a role in this policy?
They can. We did go over, I believe the nurse went over in the classes about EpiPens, about asthma, about certain allergies that students have. We don't have necessarily a designated health person, health teacher per se, but we do rely on the nurse and the teachers and just letting people know around that child. One of the child who was severely allergic, we told their teacher and the class in a confidential way, so that they would understand why the student was bringing their own lunch and their own breakfast and those types of things. But in terms of, and it does talk about here in the regs too, having those kinds of health discussions and having them with the teachers, and it says a health professional, not a health professional, health educator. We don't have that, but we have, one of the duties of the nurse is to get that information out, and as well as myself. So we can do even more of that by letting people know. Like, for instance, we're going to have a flu campaign that's going on. We could do one with allergies and with, let's see, and then letting people know as we put signage up that we're nut-free or those types of things. That would be my suggestion, actually.
Okay, all right. Any other questions? Okay, deliberations. Make this into a motion.
I move we pass administrative regulation.
I'll second.
A roll call, please.
Was that a second, Ms. Collins?
Yes, it was.
Member Collins?
And it's a yes.
Member Inch?
Yes.
Member Langner?
Yes.
Member Vargas?
Yes.
President Marion?
Yes, motion carries unanimously. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Dunn.